everyone, it's your favourite Atomic Blonde here, and trying out a new little show called, as you can see, Atomic Reads, or sometimes listens. What I mean by that is obviously through Audible. I think like most people, we're all a little bit short on time these days, and when I go my daily walk, I often pop in an Audible, and I'm working my way through a few books at the moment. Or at night, just before I fall asleep, I'll stick on an Audible. The amount of times I have to go back on the chapters because I've fallen asleep and go, hang on, I don't remember that happening. So anyway, I'm not sure how frequently I'm going to do this. Obviously, as ever, it always comes down to time, and I seem to have less and less of it, as we all do. And I just wanted to talk about, I love reading. I was brought up to read. I was one of these kids who was taught to read before, actually got to school, and schools frown on that these days. They don't teach children to read, which I think is absolute BS. The sooner you can get into reading, you start forming your taste, it improves your vocabulary, your imagination, and critical thinking, which is really important. And kids just aren't taught that. It's just don't question, don't learn, just consume and believe whatever we tell you. Ooh, conspiracy theories. But anyway, I love reading. Unfortunately, I think like most adults, I just don't get a lot of time to do it anymore. I used to very much on my commute into work, good hour or so, hour and a half on the train, 5 days a week, bash through the books. Now I only go in like once a week, twice a week. So as I said, I've switched mainly to Audible, and that really obviously does depend on the person doing the narration. But it's only something I've recently got into. But so what I do is like sort of cover sort of genres that I like and authors. And I was going to kick this one off with, as you can see there, an author called A.J. Riddle, an American author, and it is a man who does books in a very kind of, I'd say, science fiction thriller kind of a genre. And it's like most things. I think a lot of authors I've kind of stumbled across. I'm sort of on Amazon trying to find things, obviously sometimes through recommendations as well. But again, this is what I kind of really sort of stumbled across. And the first book I read was called Departure. Now, like I say, a lot of his books are thrillers. They involve like time travel. There's a lot of sort of science and things like genes and almost a bit ancient alien type stuff in here. So if you're into all of that kind of thing, I think you'll love this author. A lot of these books have. I'm actually surprised some of these books haven't been made into films or TV, in the sense that, and please don't let this put you off, but a lot of these books have strong female characters, but they're not Mary Sue's. They're flawed. They struggle. They make bad decisions. They're not always good people. But he has a really good balance between having male and female protagonists, and again working together, mentoring. So not in the modern sense of strong female characters. I'd say very much in the old school world. When we talk about the Ripleys and Sarah Connors and people, those kind of actual women. So Departure. Again, if you watch my channel, I love a bit of timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly. I'm into a Doctor Who, old Doctor Who. Not so much, recent Doctor Who. I love Manifest, and things like that, where, trying to figure out what's going on. So this story, as a synopsis says, so it's en route from London to New York. The flight loses power and crashes in the English countryside. There's a group of strangers on board. And it's basically the story of these passengers. And obviously initially it's just about survival. Some are hurt. Why is the plane crashed? Where are they? And then very much it starts to be like, well, when are they? Where they've crashed, the world doesn't look like how it did when they left. It's very apocalyptic, I guess, and there's sort of five key characters. So we've got writer Harper Lane, venture capitalist Nick Stone, German genetic researcher Sabrina Schroeder, computer scientist Yul Tan, and Grayson Shaw, the son of a billionaire philanthropist. Easy for me to say. As more facts about the crash emerge, it becomes clear that some in the group know more than others. And the answers that will lead Harper and Nick to uncover a far-reaching conspiracy involving their own lives. As they begin to piece together the truth, they discover that they have to have the power to change the future and the past to save their world or the future world. And again, like the themes of a lot of his books, and another one I'll come on to, there's lots of sort of, say, the time travel element isn't so much about you can travel through time. He very much poses like moral questions, and obviously it's a lot about causality, and like just because we go back and change something, should we change something? Or if we change it to make it better for us, what does it do to other people? And this story kind of plays out that there was a group of people who, for the right reasons, were playing around with genetics and almost come like a bit of an elite. And through the genetics, they're able to improve people. And this triggers a series of events. And I say all of these, I'm not going to spoil the story because I really want you to read these books, but just give you enough that hopefully you find them intriguing to go and read, because I say I really enjoy this author. And what I love about his stuff is that, again, there's lots of threads and time travel and twists and turns. And certainly every book I've read so far, I haven't read all of his books, and that's definitely on my to-do list, is that all the threads are tied up. Everything sort of comes together. And again, he talks about causality a lot. So, you haven't got people just running around rogue, just doing crazy things because, hey, that's cool, let's blow that up kind of stuff. It's all very thought through. And again, I didn't see the twist coming in this book. And again, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be at all, with this plane crash, and they're not quite sure where they are, and the time travel aspect. And the book actually played out completely differently to what I was expecting. So this is the one that really got me sort of hooked on his works. The next was a trilogy. The Atlantis Gene, Atlantis Plague, and the Atlantis World. Now, I must admit, I read these quite a while ago, but I really enjoyed them at the time. So the synopsis for this one. As a battle to save humanity has begun, off the coast of Antarctica, a research vessel discovers a mysterious structure buried deep within an iceberg. Entombed for thousands of years, it can't possibly be man-made, but a secretive and ruthless cabal think they know what it is and what it means. The Amari spent millennia preparing for the return of humanity's ancient enemy. Faced with an extinction-level events, they believe mankind's only chance of survival will mean sacrificing 99.9% of the planet's population. It's a price the Amari are prepared to pay. Geneticist Kate Warner and intelligence agent David Vale may have a chance to avert the looming catastrophe, but only if they can decode the secrets of the Atlantis gene. So Kate and David are the main sort of protagonists of this. As it says, she's a geneticist. They find this, it's not really a spoiler, it's called Atlantis, right? So they find this Atlantis type building. And it's all kind of going back in time, and how did we evolve, and sort of how did we get from Neanderthal to Homo sapien, and were we experimented on? Did something happen to sort of push our evolution forward? And then we say we've kind of got this pandemic that as you see, the Atlantis plague. So by sort of finding this place in a series of events, it triggers this plague. And again, it kind of goes back to the base genes and where we originated from as to whether you survive the plague or you don't, and then kind of what happens after most of the sort of population is wiped out, and sort of and Atlantis world culminates and gives you all the answers to how this is happening and how Kate fits into this. And again, these books are quite hard to explain without giving away major spoilers. I've just realised I've sort of picked actually quite a hard one to explain. But I think if you're really into kind of, like I say, this kind of ancient alien, genetics, time travel, and sort of almost like a spy thriller as well, you know, those kind of things. I think you'll absolutely love these books. Again, the endings aren't obvious. There's normally always a really good twist in here. And the thing is, the characters, I really like the way he writes his female characters, as I said at the start. They're not all Mary Sue's. I mean, most of them are bright, intelligent, quite independent, but at the same time, they have, you know, they're capable of normal, they're not putting down men or making them out to be stupid. They're very much on a level playing field. And again, the male characters are very good. They're not all male chauvinist pigs or misogynist, but they're not pushovers either. They're just like kind of normal people, but they're always like quite intelligent people, either kind of in predominantly sort of scientists or agents or something like that. So again, the things they're kind of getting involved with and the knowledge they have, it makes sense for them to have them in the kind of roles and jobs and things they do. And they're normally as well quite well rounded. You often learn a bit about their backgrounds, their family, why they do what they do. And the thing I really like about his style of writing is that is the, as I said, world building. You care about these characters, he builds up, but without loads and loads of superfluous information or waffling. So I really recommend this trilogy. Where it starts to where it ends is just great. It really takes you on a journey with these books. And the one I read most, well, I say actually it was, this one was an Audible, so I've listened to most recently, is Lost in Time. So control the past, save the future. One morning, Dr. Sam Anderson wakes up to find that the woman he loves has been murdered. For Sam, the horror is only beginning. He and his daughter are accused of the crime. The evidence is ironclad. They will be convicted. And so to ensure his daughter goes free, Sam does what he must. He confesses. But in the future, murderers aren't sent to prison. Thanks to machines Sam helped invent, the world's worst criminals are now sent to the past, approximately 200 million years into the past, to the dawn of time of the dinosaurs, where they must live out their lives alone in exile from the human race. Sam accepts his fate, but his daughter doesn't. So yeah, so they create this. So when they create this time machine, not only does it send them back in time, it's actually to another reality. So by sending people back in our time, it's not having any causal effect. So with all of this, this one's really about causality. So if you do anything that stops the timeline happening from how it should, basically existence in that timeline ceases to exist. Everything just goes. And this kind of talks about the Fermi effect paradox. So there's a paradox that says, why haven't we met aliens? Why haven't we met other life forms? And this kind of touches on that. So, you know, if these other civilizations have found time travel, potentially they've wiped themselves out because they've changed things and destroyed their timeline. So his daughter has got to find a way of going not only back in time, but to a different universe, bringing her father back or basically proving him innocent, because we know he's innocent as per the blurb, that he basically taken the fall for his daughter, but his daughter didn't do it either. So she needs to try and find out who did do it, who framed her father, find a way of clearing his name, bringing him back, but without any changes in the timeline, to make sure she doesn't blow up the world. Simples. So again, it's like it's the father, his daughter, he's also got a young son. There's also, I think, about 4 work colleagues, that he creates this time machine with, and we learn a lot about their lives and their relationships, and all of them have got, especially like one of them, Elliot, he loses his son to a drug overdose. So he's desperately trying to find a way that he can go back and save his son, but again, without blowing up the world. So there's several threads happening throughout this about what's happening, not just to the main character of Sam and his daughter, Adeline, but what their friends around them. And they've all kind of got reasons that potentially they'd want to go back in time or change things. And I really enjoyed this. I have to say, I really, really enjoyed this. And again, some of the twists, it's like almost as it's unfolding, you kind of go, oh, I know how they're going to do this, I know, but you don't see it coming a mile away, which I loved. And then once a few pieces, like towards the very end, when a few pieces start clicking in, you're like, there was one twist in this that I was just like, oh my God. Did not see that coming at all. Really good, really clever. I'd say I really, really enjoyed this. I think this is his most recent book as well, Lost in Time, his most recent release. So maybe a good one to start with, test the water with, and then try some of the other ones. I'd say this or Departure before getting into the sort of trilogies. But if you like a good read, then crack on with the trilogies. And then lastly, Quantum Radio. So this one I've just started. I'm probably about 12 chapters in. And again, so far, I'm already hooked. Again, I'm doing this one on Audible on my daily walks. So at CERN, a scientist has just made an incredible discovery, a breakthrough that may answer the deepest questions about human existence. But what he has found is far more dangerous than he ever imagined. Dr. Tyson Klein is a quantum physicist who has dedicated his life to his research. At CERN, he analyzes data generated by the Large Hadron Collider, the world's biggest and most powerful accelerator. Now Ty believes he's found a pattern in its output. It looks like an organized data stream being broadcast over what he calls a quantum radio. Could it be signal from another universe, a message sent from the future, or something else entirely? Yeah, so far, he's made this discovery. And he's presented to his CERN colleagues. They've all gone, oh, interesting, this needs more research. He goes home to his apartment. He receives a package. He then gets a phone call from his girlfriend telling him to get out of his flat, and the flat blows up. So his package was a clock. It was basically a bomb. So he stumbled across something that he shouldn't have stumbled across, it looks like. And now he's on the run. So that's kind of, where I've got to. But like I say, I'm a few chapters in, 11 chapters in. I'm already hooked. The whole, it talks a lot about quantum, obviously quantum radio, but quantum entanglement and sort of speed of light and stuff. So could you communicate through quantum entanglement? Current theory says no, because you can't go faster than the speed of light, but then quantum entanglement shouldn't exist because you can't go further than the speed of light. So there's like, in the scientific community, you've got traditional physics and then quantum physics, and traditional physics kind of says, well, that can't work in quantum physics. So it's kind of, so where I've got to, that's what they're kind of talking about and saying, well, it's one hand, it's not theoretically possible, but what if it is possible, or it's already happening? So I'm really intrigued to see where this goes. Are they talking to another universe? Are they talking back in time? Because again, there is a conversation that happens that says, do things just not feel right to you? Do things just not feel logical, or do things feel like they're changing? And obviously, in recent years, there's a whole, the Mandela effect, and everybody's basically saying it's the Hadron Collider. That when we switched, when we started banging particles together in 2010. We actually sort of shifted realities, or another reality's bled through into our reality, and that's why we're getting the Mandela effect. So this doesn't say Mandela effect in the book, but I think that's, are we getting messages from the past and someone sort of changing the history ever so slightly? So, not everybody's, I don't know, I'm completely guessing here. But like I say, it's already got my brain going. I'm really excited to find out where this one goes. I will let you know in a probably a couple of weeks' time how it all pans out and whether it's worth a read or a listen. So he's got a lot more books out there. He's got some other trilogies that I'm really looking forward to getting into. I think he's a great author. Like I say, I really enjoy his works. I love his characterizations. The kind of normal, well, I say the normal people, they're all like very intelligent, probably rich, not quite our world or my world, but that's the whole point, is, the escapism of it. And I love reading about intelligent people. One of the reasons as you know from my channel, I hate modern TV and films, is that people are just stupid. They make stupid decisions, they act stupid, even in like things where they're supposed to be clever, like modern Star Trek, they're still stupid. It just drives me nuts. So but I will say is like I say, I'm not a scientist in any way, shape or form. It's just those things kind of fascinate me. I wish I was as intelligent as the people I watch on TV, or in like sort of Star Trek and things like that. So I love it when they're talking about the science and the physics, and it's based in some reality, if you like, and then it kind of goes past, or they find something that proves that current science thinking's wrong. But it's just, that where we could go with science and, what's out there, So, yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this new Atomic Reads. I'll be covering, obviously, some other authors that I like, probably like Stephen Leather, Christopher Farnsworth. So it will be some science fiction. There'll definitely be some supernatural in there, just some pure thrillers. But as always, I'd love to know if you guys read A.G. Riddle, and what you think of his work. Is there a book of his I haven't read that you'd like to recommend to me, and then review? I'm really interested in what you guys think. Or there's a book you want me to review. If I read it, obviously I can do it straight away. If not, you'll have to wait for me to catch up on it. But yeah, do let me know what you think of these books and this author. So that's it for now. Just a quick snippet and insight into my reading habits, which are as eclectic and as mad as my music and my TV/film habits. So hopefully there will be something for everybody in Atomic Reads and sometimes listens. So have a good week. Crack open a Kindle, a book, or press play on that Audible and disappear into a much better world. Take care. Bye-bye.